Hey everyone! If you're getting ready for your IGCSE biology practical exams, yep, that's papers 5 and 6, then you have come to the right place. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how you can turn those tricky practical questions into guaranteed marks and really set yourself up for a top grade.
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to kick things off by mastering data and graphs. Then we'll jump into how to plan a perfect investigation. And finally, we'll sharpen up those crucial observation skills. By the end of this, you'll have a super clear strategy to absolutely ace both papers.
You know, these papers can seem kind of daunting, right? Because they're testing your hands-on skills, not just what you've memorized. But here's the great part. The types of questions they ask are incredibly predictable. So with the right strategy, you can walk into that exam feeling totally confident and ready for anything they throw at you. We're going to zero in on the 3 areas where pretty much all the marks are won or lost. That's data handling, planning your investigations, and your observation skills. This isn't about cramming more biology facts. It's all about learning the techniques to show the examiner what you really know. Okay, our first core skill, handling data. This is a massive part of the exam, and it all begins with organizing your results and observations into a table that's clear, professional, and easy to read. So when a question tells you to record your results, you can't just scribble them down anywhere. There are very specific things an examiner is looking for, things that will get you full marks. Let's take a look at what a perfect table actually includes. Okay, check this out. This is a great example from a food test investigation. This is exactly what a perfect table looks like. See how it's got these nice, clean columns, and the headings are all filled in? Plus, all the results are recorded precisely. Just getting this structure right earns you easy marks before the examiner even starts looking at your actual data. After tables, we've got graphs. Now, drawing a graph might seem pretty simple, but it is so easy to lose marks on tiny little details. But the good news is, if you just follow a simple checklist, you can lock in these marks every single time. Here it is, the 4 simple steps to a perfect line graph. First, and this is a big one, always label your axes with both the quantity and the unit. For example, mean daily calcium intake /mg. Second, use a scale that fills up at least half of the grid you're given. Make it big and easy to read. Third, plot your points super accurately, maybe with a little X or a circled dot. And finally, connect them with a single, clean line using a ruler. Done. Okay, now for the big one. That 6-mark planning question. This is the one that can feel like a monster, right? But honestly, it's just a test of your logical thinking. We can actually break it down into a simple formula you can use every time. The best way to think about this is like a recipe. Every successful plan needs the same key ingredients. Let's use an example, like investigating the enzyme catalase in different foods to see how this recipe works in the real world. So the secret sauce here is to structure your answer around these 5 points. You've got to state your variables, outline your method, list at least 2 things you'll keep the same to make it a fair test, mention you'll repeat it for reliability, and always include a relevant safety precaution. You cover these 5 areas and you are well on your way to those full 6 marks. Seriously, as soon as you read the question, just ask yourself these 3 things. Figuring out your independent, dependent, and control variables is the absolute foundation of your whole plan. Get this part right, and everything else just flows logically from there. All right, on to our third and final skill set, observation. This is where we'll cover the whole shebang, from making accurate scientific drawings to doing calculations and comparing different specimens. Now, biological drawings, they have their own special set of rules, and it's not about being an artist. These are scientific diagrams. The key things to remember are use a sharp pencil, draw big so it uses most of the space, use single clear outlines with absolutely no shading, make sure you include the key details you can actually see, and of course add labels if the question asks for them. Okay, the magnification formula. You are almost guaranteed to see this on your exam. You've got to know it by heart, but even more important, you need to be really comfortable flipping it around to find any one of those 3 values. So here's how you tackle a typical calculation. First, rearrange that formula to find what you're looking for. In this case, it's actual size. Next, get your ruler and carefully measure the image size right there on your exam paper. Then, pop those values into your rearranged formula. And finally, do the math and make sure you round it to the right number of significant figures, which is usually 2 or 3. And last up for this section, comparison questions. The key here is just to state the visible structural differences you can see. Don't guess, don't infer, just say what's in front of you. For example, you can clearly see the bone on the right has a curved shaft, while the healthy one is straight. That's a perfect point for a mark. And there you have it. We've just gone through the complete toolkit you need to walk into your paper 5 or 6 exam feeling totally prepared. It really isn't about magic. It's all about having a solid method.
So, to wrap it all up, just focus on nailing these 3 core skills. First, get your data handling perfect with clean tables and precise graphs. Second, always use that 5-point structure for your investigation plans. And third, just follow the rules for your drawings and calculations. You master these techniques and you will be good to go.
You know, by focusing on these strategies, you're not just memorizing stuff for a test. You're actually learning the fundamental skills of how to think, work, and communicate like a real scientist. Now go and put it all into practice. This explainer was brought to you by Fundoo Tutor. Fundoo Tutor is a personalized learning platform that helps students succeed in Cambridge, IB, and other international curriculums with expert mentorship, structured learning support, and engaging resources.